I remember the exact moment I wanted to disappear. A foreigner looked at me and said, "Hi, how are you?" And I could not answer. Not because I didn't know the words, but because I was afraid. 10 years of studying, hundreds of exams, thousands of words, and still silence. For 10 years, I studied English almost every day. I memorized grammar rules. I finished thick textbooks. I passed many exams. But when a foreigner looked at me and asked a simple question, my mind went blank. My heart beat fast. My mouth would not open. I knew the words, I knew the grammar, but I could not speak. If this sounds like you, stay with me. This story may feel very personal. It may feel like I am talking about your life. Hello, my dear friend. I am so happy you are here with me today. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. This is not a test. This is not a classroom. This is a safe place to grow. Today, I want to share something honest, something a little painful. I want to tell you why I couldn't speak English after 10 years of learning. And maybe in my story, you will see yourself. Maybe you will finally understand what is missing. And maybe by the end of this video, you will feel hope again. Let me take you back to a small classroom. I was a teenager. I sat at a wooden desk. The teacher wrote grammar rules on the board. We copied everything. We repeated sentences together. I have been studying. She has gone to school. We repeated again and again. My notebook was full. My test scores were high. People said, "You are good at English." I believed them. I thought I was good at English. Please repeat after me, softly. I thought I was good at English. Say it again. I thought I was good at English. Good. Feel the rhythm. Years passed. I went to university. More grammar, more reading, more exams. I learned difficult words. I could explain complex rules. If someone asked me about past perfect tense, I could answer. But no one asked me how I felt when I tried to speak. No one asked me why my hands shook when I opened my mouth. Then, one day, everything changed. A foreign guest visited our school. He smiled and said, "Hi, how are you?" Such a simple question, so easy. I had learned it when I was a child, but in that moment, my brain stopped working. I wanted to say, "I'm fine, thank you, and you?" But the sentence felt heavy. My tongue felt frozen. There was a long, painful silence. He kept smiling. I kept panicking. Have you ever felt that? That hot feeling in your face? That voice in your head saying, "Don't make a mistake. Don't embarrass yourself." If you know this feeling, repeat this sentence. I was afraid to make mistakes. Again, I was afraid to make mistakes. Very good. That day, I went home and closed my door. I felt angry. I felt ashamed. I avoided eye contact. I pretended to check my phone. I wished the moment would end quickly. I asked myself, why? Why after 10 years can I not speak one simple sentence? I opened my old notebooks. They were full of knowledge, but my mouth was empty. Slowly, I began to see the truth. I did not fail because I was stupid. I did not fail because I was lazy. I failed because I trained my brain, but I did not train my voice. English is not a subject, it is a skill, and skills grow with practice, not with fear. I studied about English. I did not live in English. I understood English, but I did not use English. Please repeat this powerful sentence. I studied about English, but I did not use English. Again, I studied about English, but I did not use English. Feel the difference. For 10 years, I was a silent learner. I listened, I read, I wrote, but I almost never spoke. In class, the teacher talked most of the time. At home, I did grammar exercises. I waited to be perfect before speaking. I thought, when my grammar is perfect, I will speak. But perfection never came, and my silence grew stronger. There was another reason: fear, deep fear. I was afraid people would laugh. I was afraid my pronunciation was bad. I was afraid of simple words. I compared myself to others. I watched fluent speakers online and thought, I will never sound like that. So I stayed quiet. Silence felt safe, but silence also kept me small. One evening, I had a small but important moment. I was watching a video of a child learning to walk. The child fell down again and again, but the child did not say, I need to study walking for 10 years before I try. The child just stood up and tried again. Suddenly, I asked myself, why am I not allowing myself to fall? Repeat after me, I am allowed to make mistakes. Again, I am allowed to make mistakes. Say it with more confidence. I am allowed to make mistakes. Yes, you are. That night, I made a small decision. I would speak English every day. Not perfectly, not beautifully, just honestly. I started with simple sentences. I stood in front of a mirror and said, my name is. I described my day. Today, I woke up at 7. I drank coffee. I felt tired. Very simple, very basic, but it was real speaking. At first, I felt silly. I felt uncomfortable. My voice sounded strange to my own ears, but something new was happening. My mouth was moving. My brain and my voice were finally working together. It was slow, but it was alive. I also changed how I learned. Instead of only reading silently, I began to practice shadowing. I listened to short sentences. I repeated them immediately, not in my head, out loud, again and again. I copied the rhythm. I copied the emotion. I did not stop the audio every second. I flowed with it. Let's practice together now. Listen to this sentence. I can improve step by step. Now repeat it. I can improve step by step. Again, I can improve step by step. Very good. After a few weeks, something surprising happened. One day, a tourist asked me for directions. My heart still beat fast, but this time I did not run away. I spoke. My grammar was not perfect. My pronunciation was not perfect, but I communicated. He understood me, and I understood him. It was not a perfect conversation, but it was a real conversation. In that moment, I realized something important. Speaking is not about perfect grammar. It is about connection. It is about courage. It is about sending a message from your heart to another human being. For 10 years, I focused on being correct. I forgot to focus on being brave. Please repeat this sentence slowly. Speaking is about courage, not perfection. Again, speaking is about courage, not perfection. Feel the meaning. I also learned that consistency is stronger than intensity. Before, I would study many hours before an exam, then I would stop. Now, I speak a little every day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, short conversations, short recordings, small steps, but every day. Maybe you are like me. Maybe you have studied for years. Maybe you know many words, but when it is time to speak, fear wins. If that is you, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not bad at languages. You simply trained the wrong skill. You trained knowledge. Now it is time to train action. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine yourself speaking English calmly. Imagine smiling. Imagine making a small mistake and continuing anyway. That version of you already exists. You just need practice. When I look back, I am grateful for those silent years. They taught me patience. They taught me humility. But I wish someone had told me earlier that language is a physical skill, like singing, like dancing. You cannot learn it only from books. You must move. You must make sound. So today, as you listen to my voice, I invite you to do more than listen. Repeat. Even if your pronunciation is not clear, even if someone in the next room hears you, let them hear you grow. Say this with me. I am not too late. Again, I am not too late. And one more time. I am not too late. Because you are not. 10 years of silence do not mean you cannot speak. They only mean you are ready for a new method, a kinder method, a graver method. Now, when someone asks me, "How did you finally start speaking?" I smile. I say, I stopped trying to be perfect, and I started trying to be real. That is the secret. Simple, not easy, but simple. If you stay with this journey, if you practice shadowing every day, if you allow mistakes, your voice will grow stronger. One day you will answer a question without fear. One day you will tell your own story in English, and you will remember this moment, the moment you decided to stop being silent. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being brave enough to learn. If this story touched you, if you saw yourself in it, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are building confidence together, step by step, voice by voice. And now, before we finish, let's slowly shadow 3 key phrases from today. Speak clearly, speak calmly. I studied about English, but I did not use English. Speaking is about courage, not perfection. I am allowed to make mistakes. Take these sentences with you tomorrow, repeat them next week, and remember your voice matters. Keep going. One day, someone will ask you a question in English, and this time you will answer, not perfectly, but bravely.